So, hi, a very happy evening to all the educators present here. The Directorate of Admissions and Academic Outreach at Amrita Vishwavidyapitham welcomes you towards today's session on social emotional learning. So, it's a very important topic at this present time. We know the importance of this topic or importance of this area in everyone's life. So, we have with us today's speaker. She is Shibi Anand. So, I welcome you, ma'am, towards today's session. There is a lot to explain about our speaker. So she's an educator. She's a passionate educator with 19 plus years of teaching experience. She has worked at various leadership levels with different educational ecosystems. She has been doing a lot of training programs to teachers and in different areas. She has an experience of 8+ years in conducting these training sessions. So it will be a wonderful session to all of you. She is a freelance educator. She is a book reviewer, and her area is computer science. So she is also a techie who is having a lot more knowledge about it. So she has won a lot of recognitions. So she has been awarded the Bharat Sahodaya Exceptional Educator Award in 2021. So I am also looking forward towards today's session. So welcome you, ma'am, and welcome all the participants. So if you have any queries or if you want to discuss anything, you can make use of the chat box. So please do type what are you want to discuss with ma'am. And also, towards the end of the session, we'll share your feedback form where you can ask any questions to her or maybe any suggestions. So looking forward and welcome you, ma'am, once again, and welcome everybody. Yeah, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Lakshmi, and namaste to everyone who has joined me today in this session for social emotional learning. For some of you, it was a working day, and still you made an effort to join. I understand from the organizers there were close to 800 to 1,000 registered participants, and in the participants list, I can see 100. So that means you care about this topic and you genuinely want to be here. And I'm so grateful to each and every one of you. And before I start, thank you, Amrita, Directorate of Admissions, for organizing this webinar at this present time, which is of so much of relevance. Just a couple of things to keep in mind. You're all on mute, I understand, but you can definitely use the chat box as much as you want so that there is an interaction. Remember, I derive my energy from each one of you who are present here. And at times when you are asked to unmute and speak, you can definitely do that as well. I think since we have started on with offline classes, there's a little of slowing down on online sessions. So there is just one thing that I'm using here because I want to have your interactions and feedbacks. So there is this Mentimeter slides that I'm using. And just for everybody who is not in regular touch with the Mentimeter use. I know most of you know how to use Mentimeter. This is just for people who are, again, catching up on the Mentimeter and online platform kind of a thing. I just want you to understand that all you have to do is on your phones, if you're joining me from your phone, you could just write menti.com and write the code that would be shared with you during the session. So let me share my screen with you, and Lakshmi would be able to tell me if you are able to see my.
Yes, ma'am. It's visible. Screen. No, you need to. Yeah, now it's fine, ma'am. Completely fine. Good to go.
Yeah. Thank you so much. As again, a request to all the participants, because this is the only way I know you are with me. Please communicate via the chat box. So today's topic, everybody, is called social emotional learning. Now, this topic is of very much of relevance to each and every one of our lives, irrespective of who we are, where we are from, or what do we do. Okay, so I just want to take this topic with you today. So before I take this topic with you, I want you to let me know how are you feeling today. Okay, to help you with that, I've stopped sharing my screen because I want to share another screen with you. So just give me a minute, and I want everybody to tell me how are you feeling today. Okay. you can use the chat box meanwhile, or probably I'll just go back to my screen, which gives you an idea about what are the different feelings. Yes, I see somebody's feeling great. Some people are feeling good. Yes. One of you could also tell me. So these are some of your clues, okay, whereby you can derive excited. Very good. Tired. I definitely do understand. Relaxed, probably because you had a good day. All right. So a lot of people are excited and over the moon. Oh my goodness. That is all the work has been done and you've been free for the day and attending the session. Great, Kalpana. That's so good to know. But I want you to understand, definitely not energetic now. Yes, I want everybody to understand that you really need to go deep into your feeling and find out how are you feeling right now. You could be tired, you could be disappointed, you could be, it could be just because somebody has forced you to be here. You could be as honest as possible. Confused, yes, you can be confused. You could be anxious, you could be surprised, you have to identify the feeling that you are feeling. Thank you so much, because it means so much to understand that we realize the emotions and we know the emotions that we are going through. Yes, thank you so much, everybody. Now let me go back. I wanted to do this through Mentimeter. I am a disruptor, so I don't have a fixed way of doing. No, it's okay, Sherlyn. You don't have to go to the Mentimeter right now. You could just type it in the chat box or name the feeling that you're feeling. I said that all of us are educators probably, and we all go to our classrooms with a fixed lesson plan or a to-do thing. But at times when we realize that children are not very much with the plan that we are taking, we change it according to our children. So I'm exactly like that. So though I have a fixed plan for today's session, but my today's session will go like how you want to go, how you direct me to go, and how you channelize me to go. So objectives of today's session is actually to familiarize you with the social emotional learning and the key components of social emotional learning and how it impacts our student outcomes, some of the practical strategies and resources that you can actually use in your classrooms with your children at home, which would help you to understand social emotional learning much more better, and also to empower teacher to create supportive and nurturing and positive classroom environments that will help them to have much more effective academic outputs. Pallavi has raised her hand. Is there any issue, Pallavi? You want to ask something? Lakshmi, can you look into that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And this is the objective. And my key takeaways for you actually is to understand the importance of SEL, to develop self-awareness, to promote positive relationships, and to learn self-management skills, and how you can integrate social learning, emotional learning into your instructions. But these are the takeaways that I believe you will have at the end of the session, but each one of you will take what you want to receive. Not everybody would be able to take away everything that I would like to share here today. So it depends on your energy, your openness, your aura. So that's why I have written on the bottom of the slide that the key takeaways depend on you. So is that fair enough, everyone? Can I have some responses in the chat? Are you with me? Can we go forward with social emotional learning? Yes, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so I hope whoever was facing the problem has been taken care of. All right. Now, we need to also understand typically what is social emotional learning? Okay, so the social emotional learning actually refers to the process of acquiring, applying the knowledge, attitude, and skills which is necessary to understand and manage our emotions, to set and achieve our goals, demonstrate empathy for others, and establish and maintain positive relationships and make responsible decisions. So if you look into that whole definition of social emotional learning, the keywords have been highlighted using the black color. So whenever we actually share something with our children, we also always have this habit of highlighting the keywords so that we can retain those keywords in our mind. So I want you, everybody, to just take a minute to read the definition of social emotional learning before we go forward, because it's very important to know and understand what is social emotional learning. So just a minute, on your screen is the definition of social emotional learning. So if you could just go through that so that we can go further ahead. A minute for you to read. Okay, I hope everybody got a chance to read the definition and to take in the keywords of social emotional learning. You know, as educators and as people, we are always living in this fast-paced world. You know, we don't have time. So everything that we say needs to be instant. Everything has to have an instant response. We give a problem to our children and we expect them to instantly understand that and give the response back. I think we need to slow down. You know, we need to give children the time to think and reflect. So as you see, as you go ahead, you will see reflection is a very integral part of social emotional learning. All right. So in general, if you look at social emotional learning, is very crucial for the holistic development of individuals because it supports their emotional well-being. We are all emotional beings, right? We are all guided by our emotions in everything that we do. We are guided by our heart because there is this heart, hand, and head approach that we use for teaching and learning as well. So this is when we are able to regulate our emotions, we are able to regulate the outcomes that we want. We are able to control how we want to proceed in our life. So this is why this SEL is crucial for the holistic development of individuals because it supports the emotional well-being and interpersonal relationship. And obviously with it comes the academic success. Okay, so this is the code for the Mentimeter. And let me just stop the screen and take my Mentimeter screen and share it. And meanwhile, you could tell me, because it's been very long that we have, just let me know if you're able to see my Mentimeter screen. If some of you could just let me
Yes,
know
ma'am.
if you're able to see my Mentimeter screen. Okay. Thank you so much. So can I have some responses in the Mentimeter? You all have to do is just go to your mobile phones or your laptops if you're using menti.com, and the code that is, the code is 48272742. I'll just type it over here. 48272742 is the code for the Mentimeter. So if you could just type that code, you will see the screen, and I want you to let me know if you have ever heard which question are you able to see now? Are you not able to see? Yeah, I have activated. 1 second, let me just do it again. Yes. Yes, thank you so much. So there are around 8 or 10 people. So many of you have heard of the social emotional learning. That's wonderful. And many of us actually use this social emotional learning, in our classrooms, in our lives, without being aware that we are doing something which is known as social emotional learning. So yes, there are many of you who says that you have heard of social emotional learning, which is very, very encouraging because you can definitely give your inputs as we go forward. Yes. So, right. So out of 158 people, 32 people say yes, 5 say no, and 1 says not sure. Yes. So that's my, potential audience who said not sure and who said no, because there is this chance for you to understand what is social emotional learning here today. Yes. So thank you so much. So that's really, really encouraging. Let's just get back to our presentation. Okay, 1 second. Let me know if you're able to see the slide.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Are you able to see the framework of social emotional learning? Are you able to see the framework of social emotional learning? Thank you so much. You guys are very, very energetic and lovely students to have. So this is basically the framework of social emotional learning, which is 5 components. Okay. All right. Lakshmi, there are people who have raised their hand. Can you just, Srilata? Yeah. Just, would you let us know what is the issue?
Maybe ma'am, now I have to
I would
enable
just
you to
ask.
talk. Yes, you
Yeah,
can.
I have allowed Srilata to talk.
Yes, I
Srilata,
have
would you
allowed.
let us know what is the issue?
Ma'am, if there is anything, you can unmute.
Yeah. You can unmute actually. All right.
Okay.
I don't hear from her, so I just go ahead with the framework of social emotional learning. So there are 5 major components to social emotional learning, and we would be talking about these 5. Yeah, thank you. So these 5 again and again. First is self-awareness. Second is self-management. Third is responsible decision making. Fourth is relationship skills. Fifth is social awareness. So these are the 5 pillars of social emotional learning. And your social emotional learning is actually happening in your classrooms, your schools, in your homes, in your communities. But these are the 5 major chunks of social emotional learning. So the first thing that we did today was to find out how are we feeling today, right? And that was to bring in the awareness of how are we exactly feeling today, because some of you may be in a rush for the evening chores that you need to do. Some of you may just have got back home, so may not be that energetic. Some of you may already be disturbed with something else. Some of you would be happy and excited. So it's very important to understand and be aware of the emotions that we are feeling. Now, in your chat box, if you could use your chat box, I'm going to ask you one question. Can you uh, write about this? Write a memory about the adult who comes to your mind. And what do you remember about that person? Anybody, when I ask you this question of think of a person who comes to your mind, and what do you remember about that person? Or how do you feel when you are actually with that person? Do you remember anybody when I ask you to recollect somebody? Grandfather, very good. Your musical guru, your English teacher, your father, very good. Your nanny, your mama, your grandmother. The question is not clear. My question is, if you have to bring somebody in your memory, if you have to think of somebody in memory who have affected you in your life, right? Who would that person be and why? Right? Why do you think you remember them? A student of mine. Wow, that's lovely. Okay, your geography teacher. Very good. Feeling secured. Very good. Your son. That's wonderful. Oh, great. Always composed no matter what the situation. Wow, Tina. Okay. Your school friend. All right. So that the whole idea when we do this process of, thinking of that somebody who brings calm to our life or with whom we feel calm, we feel secure, right? So that is you're bringing your awareness to the present. So as teachers, when you go to your classrooms, do your children or will your children have this kind of an experience? Okay, what kind of an experience will your students have? Or my next question for you, for everybody to type on the chat box would be, how do you want young people to feel? Whether they are young people in your classrooms, whether they are young people in your family or in your community, as adults, how do you want young people to feel? Joyful and safe, heard, okay, secure and happy, appreciated, to be happy, trusted. Yes, I want every participant to look at the chat box and see the responses that are coming in and to, go through those words, optimistic, empathetic, honored, happy and sharing. Okay. You can't see, Lakshmi, are the participants not able to see the chat box and the responses from the other participants?
Just a minute, ma'am.
Yeah.
I
We're
think
fixing.
already. Yeah.
Yeah. Not able to chat with everyone. Yes, able, not able to see. Okay. Is it possible for us to open the chat box so that the participants can see the responses of the other participants?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, ma'am. It's already enabled.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's very important to understand how others feel about this. So our question was, how do you want young people to feel? And many of you said confident, heard, secure, happy, motivated, accepted, right? So are we mindfully creating a classroom environment or a family environment where our children are able to feel all of these? Are we? Yes or no? Or sometimes? Not 100%. We are trying. Yes, we must. Okay, sometimes. That's a very honest answer. Yes, true. So not always we are mindful about how we want our children to feel and whether we are able to successfully create that kind of environment where our children feel all of what we just discussed. Okay. All right. Suppose if we create an environment which is socially safe and secure, which is happy, where they feel valued, where they can trust adults, what do you think will be the difference from the normal classroom culture or from the normal family atmosphere? Yes, thank you all for that response. But my question to everybody out there is, imagine you're able to create an atmosphere like this. What all changes do you think will happen in the lives of those young, children? More engaging? Yes. Okay. What else? If you're able to create a nurturing, a positive classroom or a family, impactful, more participation, yes, they will be confident. They will be thoughtful adults, constructing a holistic child. They would be responsible and proactive, better human beings, feel free, enhance their self-esteem, very important. They can take good decisions, very, very crucial. Okay, okay. So thank you. Thank you for that response. So you see, we are aware of all of these. It's just that in this regular mundane task of going to class and teaching them the concepts and finishing the syllabus, or if it is at home, you have n number of things to do as parents, so you're busy in getting those things done. And somehow we miss out on this crux of what we call it is, social emotional learning. We know all of these. I am 100% sure that we know all of these. And all of us want to have that kind of a positive, nurturing, atmosphere at home and at school with our children. But somehow we are not able to do that. So the first thing before you get into your teaching learning mode, yes, before you get into your teaching learning mode for that day, or even if it is with family, first check with your children. How are they feeling now? Are they ready to take in what you are about to share? Are they in that state of mind where they will receive what you say? So please check on their emotions. Give them, as we go ahead, we will be discussing a few activities that can be done for, bringing the self-awareness, which you can try out in your classrooms also. So self-awareness is one major key that we need to have of for implementing social emotional learning in our lives. Second thing is, self-management. You know, if self-awareness is about how we think of ourselves and who we are understanding our thoughts and feelings, if we are completely aware of who we are as a person, then we are also happy and we are also able to manage us. We are able to manage our emotions, thoughts, actions, which would help us to cope up with stress, anxiety, which will help us to deal with challenges. It will help us to be very open to the other people. So self-awareness and self-management. So what about social awareness? Can I have a few responses regarding what do you think is social awareness? The third pillar of social emotional learning is social awareness. What do you think would be social awareness? Mindfulness? Okay. There are no right or wrong answers. Okay. Everybody here is allowed to say what you feel. It could be right, it could be wrong, it doesn't matter. Just write what you feel. Social awareness, empathetic towards others, about the society, knowing about others' feeling and respecting them, responsible citizen, sensitive, society conscious, aware of the feelings of others, collaboration. Yes. So social awareness is about how we understand others. We said it's very important to be aware of self. It is very important to manage self. And the third important pillar would be to be understanding other people. How we learn to take different perspective. It's often understood. Suppose if there is somebody who does not agree to your point of view, what would be your reaction? Can I have a word? Like right now, I am speaking to you, and there could be many of you who may not agree to everything that I say. Is that right? Is that okay to disagree with people? Is that okay? Yes or no? To disagree with people? Yes. Yes. 100%. Everybody says that, yes, it's absolutely okay to disagree with people. Then why is that when somebody disagree with us on something that we have presented before them, why is that we take it very personally? We tend to have a small grudge against that person who disagrees with us in what we have presented. Why is that so? Yes, my question is to you. Everybody said that it's okay to disagree. So I understand that you all are, yes, somebody said ego, okay, self-righteousness. We feel hurt because we think, they are negating us. Inferior feeling. Yeah, it could be because the way the person has expressed the disagreement, we take it very personally, we feel dejected because we seek validation, such an important term. Yes, because we are not in the right wavelength, because we are unable to see the perception. Yes, that is what is social awareness. I'll tell you something very important today. It is absolutely okay to disagree with other people. Absolutely okay. And we need to learn and relearn this in our society, that disagreeing with somebody does not necessarily means that we don't like that person. We are only disliking or disagreeing that idea that was presented before us, right? So we can disagree in a very respectful manner. We can disagree with people, and we should know that it's not because that person has got something against me. It is because that idea does not sit well with that person, and I should be able to accept that. It is not possible for everybody in this world who would, to agree with us or what we say. So that's perfectly all right. So having a social awareness about what other people think, what is their perspective, why they might be thinking like that. We have to undo some of the biases that we have. We have to undo some of the conditioning that we have, right? This is very interesting that I have thing that I've noticed whenever I have gone to take a workshop for teachers in different schools. You may have also noticed it yourself. We have a hall, and the seating arrangement is done, but you'll always notice that the first row of the that particular hall is left blank, and people start sitting from the second row onwards, as if they're waiting for some special people to come and take those front rows. Why is that? Why is that we are not able to sit in the front row, start sitting in the front row? It's a very simple example that I want to bring before you. Or why is that when kindergarten children, they would like to sit very close to their teacher, as close as possible. But as they grow, as they go to probably junior school, middle school, senior school, they just go back and take back the seats and want to be invisible. They don't want to give, eye contact to their teachers. Why is that? As adults, suppose if we go and attend one of the sessions, we'll always go back and sit at some place where people do not notice us. Why? Can you give me a reason for why we do this? This has got a very strong relation to what I want to say. They want their own space accepted. Okay, fear, inhibitions, fear of being wrong. Yes, a sense of insecurity, less confident, bored and distracted. That could be one reason. We assume we are small. Please note the word assumption. Shy in nature, insecure. Yes. So all these words that is coming up in the chat box has come to us, or probably has been instilled in us by the society, by our parents, by our teachers when we were very, very young. They've been telling us, or probably when we stood up and said a wrong answer, probably when we were not confident enough to present ourselves. Uh, People in family, it could be family also, they have very high expectations about us, and we are not able to come up to that expectations, their level of understanding. And then suddenly and slowly we start feeling, oh no, I'm not good enough. I'm not as good as her. I am not able to do that. And slowly we start withdrawing ourselves. And when we are adults, that feeling is so strong in our minds that somehow we are not able to come out of it. Some of us are very, very strong. We are fighters. So, we try to come forward and fight out our insecurities or our low self-esteem or our low self-confidence. But please, as teachers, do take this very, very seriously. Every child in your class needs to be respected, irrespective of what quality or how the child is. make sure that you never say a word which would go back deep into that child's heart. And that the child starts feeling that, oh my goodness, Lord, I'm not good enough. I'm not good as my friend. Probably I'm not as good as what my teacher expects me to be, or my family expects me to be. No, be that adult who would trust that child, who would give that confidence. If you were as a child, if you did not get that confidence from an adult, make sure that you break that chain and you give it back to the children who are in your care. So social awareness is all about understanding others and how we learn different perspectives. We accept what other people are saying without, making it a big deal about it. So that's the third one. So self-awareness, self-management, and social awareness. Yes, that's Rita Pearson there. Every kid needs a champion who trusts in them. Thank you. Thank you so much, Simraleen Kaur, for putting up it in the chat box. I am somebody who truly, truly believes in that. Yes, all children are precious. All of us are also precious. It's not just the children. Each one of you is precious. And the fourth pillar of the social emotional learning is called relationship skills. Tell me honestly, if you have sent a message to somebody and they don't and you see that they have seen that message, but they don't respond to your message, what is your immediate feeling? Can you put it up in the chat box? In today's world, sad. Okay, you have sent a message to someone, you ignore, disappointed. Oh, wow. Somebody says it's fine, rejected, irritated. They might be busy, full points. Okay. But in this world which is going so fast, most of us are not able to take it in that sense of, okay, they may be busy, or they may be doing something else, or maybe they need time to respond to me. But we feel all these feelings that, you see in your chat box. And in a minute or in a fraction of time, that friendship can break, that relationships can break. You start overthinking about it, right? You start overthinking about, oh, that person has seen my message, so why is that person not responding to me? Why is that? Did I do something wrong? Did I say something wrong? Then you spend a lot of your energy onto thinking about things that are absolutely not relevant. But at times feelings of abandonment take over. I agree. I totally agree to that. Nobody is too busy to message. But I'm talking about an immediate response. Okay, nobody is too busy to respond to us. At some point of time, just sending you a message that, okay, I'm busy, I'll get back to you. That's fair enough. But right now, what we are talking about is relationship skills, means getting along with other people. Every family these days have one children or one child or maximum two children. So, and we are all having nuclear families. So we are not having even a joint family these days, not many. All right. So how do you think children would get into this habit of adjusting, accommodating, accepting, right? So relationship skills means how we get along with others, how we form lasting connections, communicating clearly, disagreeing with people, conflict resolutions. All of these are part of relationship skills. So next time, when you are having an issue with somebody, take your own time. Talk to that person, not to anybody else. Talk to that person and sort out the differences, communicate clearly, right? Try from your side to take the initiative. Some people are introverts. They are not, very, very outgoing in terms of making that initiative. But it's okay. Try as much as you can. So relationship skills is the fourth important pillar of social emotional learning. And the fifth one is responsible decision making. every point of time, as an adult, as a child, we have to continuously make choices. We have to continuously make decisions in our life. And those decisions need to be responsible. What do we mean by responsible decision making? Any thoughts on this? What do you mean by responsible decision making? Can I have a few responses in the chat box? What do you mean by responsible decision making? Without bias, okay. Right decision and right time, thinking, not harming, win-win, that will not affect the other person's life. Yes, yes, informed in consequences, well thought out of decisions. Yes, true, right. We are aware of the consequences of our decisions, right? And we are open-minded, and we know that this is not going to adversely affect somebody else. And we are fully taking the responsibility of the choice that we are making. That is what responsible decision making is. So my question to all those 194 people in this room today is social emotional learning something very different? Don't you think it is an integral part of our lives and need to be a compulsory component, a deliberately thought of component in our classrooms? Yes, can I have? Yes, totally agree. Thank you. You know, you can disagree with me. If you think I'm saying something wrong, please feel free to disagree with me. I am absolutely okay with your disagreements. All right. But you understand, I am also a very new learner in the path of social emotional learning. But as I was going through these resources and readings and watching, I understood that some of this I do in my classrooms without even knowing about it, right? And some of it I have to mindfully bring to my classrooms. So as educators, let us make it a mindful choice of inculcating the social emotional learning into our daily classrooms. Okay. All right. So these were the 5 components of SEL. And if some of you are having a doubt onto, okay, these are all about theories and there are no written proofs about anybody who has benefited from social emotional learning. So what you see on your screen is actually 3 case scenarios in India that has been implemented, where social emotional learning in Maharashtra schools were implemented by Tata Institute of Social Sciences. And after they introduced the social emotional learning in government schools, the findings showed that the students who received SEL interventions demonstrated better social emotional skills, increased self-awareness, better interpersonal skills, and enhanced academic output. So the research proves that the social emotional learning component in the curricula in the schools do bring a lot of changes in the students. Similarly, SEL programs in the Delhi government schools, where they have this happiness curriculum and mindful learning implemented in different government schools, this also has shown that there is an improved well-being, there is reduced stress level, there is increased student engagement and enhanced academic performance. Okay, again, this is research-based. Yes, early intervention to problem. True that. So you see, this is not just something very theoretical that we are talking about here today. We're talking about social emotional learning and its outcomes, which is directly proportional to our students. All right. So the benefits of social emotional learning for students' academic and social development, some of which I've just taken it down for you to just go through, is improved academic performances. Yes. It improves the academic performances. It helps the children to focus and concentrate better. And they become people who are able to look at problems in the holistic way, and they are able to try solving the problem using different approaches, which obviously lead to the improved academic outcomes. So some of these are just pointers for you to just understand the benefits of social emotional learning. It enhances the social skills and relationships. I do not have to emphasize on this because the SEL promotes active listening. What are the 5 pillars of social emotional learning? Can I have a quick recall of the 5 pillars of social emotional learning in the chat box by anyone? By anyone, the 5 pillars of social emotional learning. Self-awareness. Yes. Self-management. Yes. Social responsibility. Yes. Relationship skills. Yes. And one more, social awareness. I think, and responsible decision making. So we covered all of that. So we know that SEL enhances social skills and relationships also. All right. If you implement social emotional learning techniques and methodologies into your classroom, you slowly start building relationships with your students. Somebody in the chat box wrote the quote from Rita Pearson that every child needs an adult who believes in them. Okay, every child needs an adult who believes in them and who believes that they are champion and they are able to do things. So when somebody believes in us, obviously we are able to, whatever problems that we are able to share it with them, and we are able to seek out help, which leads to reduce behavioral issues. And it also helps us in getting long-term life skills. What are some of the long-term life skills that we have? Problem solving skills, the ability to understand, the ability to cope with stress. All these are, yes, teaching to ask for help is very, very important. Please ask your children. As adults, we should also reach out to other people in case if we need support. And similarly, we should also encourage our children. We should give them that safe space where they can come to us, where they can talk to us, and they know that that is safe with us. We don't go around and sharing that with anybody else. We are sharing it only with the relevant person who is able to help that child out. Okay. All right. Yes, accepting failures in life, feeling empowered, all these are very, very important. Another benefit of social emotional learning is increased emotional well-being. Absolutely no doubt about it, because when you are self-aware, when you are able to self-manage, when you are able to, understand other people, when you are able to socially aware of what is happening around you, when you are able to make responsible decisions, you definitely start feeling well. You start feeling content, happy, and not always happy. You are able to identify the emotions that you are feeling at that point of time. Now, talking about which, in your chat boxes, can you let me know how are you feeling now? Has the feeling changed from the time you have joined? Some of you were anxious, some of you were confused, some of you were quite happy, excited. But can you just tell me now, how are you feeling now? Because aware, yes, you are still feeling calm. That's an awesome thing to feel. Okay, so a little bit of your calmness goes into me also. Tiredness goes. We feel connected. That's so, so important. Honestly speaking, I am an offline person. I need to see people. I need to talk to them. I need to derive energy from them in order to feel connected. But your messages are actually bringing in a lot of positivity to me, a lot of energy to me. And that is why I am able to talk to you about this particular topic. So thank you so much for being so energetic and being always, communicating with me, though I cannot see anybody. I feel, I receive that energy from you. Thank you so much. So increase emotional well-being, and that creates self-worth. Half of our children, not 80% of our children, suffer or struggle from low self-esteem. Very low self-esteem. They think they're not good enough. They may be somebody who has the best of talents, but they don't realize that they have it. You may have come across many children in your classrooms, in your so many years of experience, who are brilliant children. But somehow they struggle with this self-esteem. Very low self-esteem, low self-confidence. They don't think they're good enough. They don't think they are adding joy to the world. They don't think there is a meaning to their lives. Okay. So it is very important for us to inculcate these social emotional learning into our regular teaching and learning process. This is not something very separate, The social, it's not like one day you go to your class and you decide, okay, today I'm going to teach social emotional learning. It's not like that. It's just part of your teaching learning process. It's just part of you. And when your children know that you are interested in them, they would love to be in your classroom. They would listen to everything that you say. Believe me when I say this. All right, now let's look at some of the challenges that we always face in our classrooms. And these challenges can be actually taken and presented before our children and ask them, okay, what do you think about it? Maybe probably we could make them into groups or teams. So some of the challenges, like as I am going through these challenges, you are free to express yourself into this, chat box about what you think about this. The first one I have selected is conflict with peers. Now, as an adult, I have conflict with my peers, with my colleagues. And sometimes it's challenging to deal with it. So these young ones who are going through a whirlwind of emotions, right? And so many changes, the most important people in their life at that point of time is their peers. And to have a conflict with their peers is something that they cannot even imagine. Lakshmi? Lakshmi, can you hear me?
Ma'am, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. The session is still 8 o'clock.
Yes,
so
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We have just posted. I was just checking whether the link is working. It's not posted to them. It's posted to us only. Yeah. Okay, ma'am.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
you can
Fair
continue.
enough. Thank you so much. I'm sorry, I did not see
No.
it was
It's okay. It's
for
okay.
everyone. Oh, now, this is something that I have to tell everybody who has joined this session. The feedback form will be definitely shared to you during the end of this session. So please don't worry about that. I understand. Being an educator, I truly understand how these online sessions work, okay? Some of you may have kept your phones on the top of the fridge. Some of you somewhere where you're working. It's okay. It's absolutely fine with me. Just make sure that you're listening and taking in whatever is relevant for you. I understand that on a working day or when we are at home, we have 101 things to do and we have to attend something also. So it's okay if you're not completely here, but if some of you can be here completely, nothing like that. I would love to have you all with me. But if some of you, because of some reason, are not able to be with me, at least put your earphones and just listen to this and just take it in. Thank you, everybody, those who are here present right now, completely here. Thank you so much. So the first, conflicting scenario with our peers is conflict with peers. And second, which we often sometimes ignore, is bullying or harassment. There was this incident with one child whom I knew very closely, who was bullied by his peers. But that child was so scared to come out and confide in a teacher that that child went through the trauma all on his own. And just when he was graduating, just when he was, on that farewell day, when he was talking to me, he shared this with me. And he said that, ma'am, we should have probably a committee in school or teachers who'd keep checking on children for some issues like this, because there are children who undergo bullying and harassment without getting enough help from the teachers around. So, this could be one challenging scenario for a child. It could be any age level. You may think, okay, small children don't bully each other. It could be small children bullying each other also. All right. And academic pressure. We know that all of us, whether we are teachers or parents, we have such high expectations of our children. We want all of them to, score 90 above, all A1s, the best in the class, the best in the country. I just want us to understand that if it is possible, as a reminder, go get your mark sheet of grade 10, open it and see. Were you a top level achiever always? Please do not worry about the feedback form. The feedback form has not been shared yet. We have this session till 8 o'clock, and during the end of the session, the feedback form will be shared with you. All right. Yeah, somebody said the bullying begins with lack of engagement, then academic pressure, and then bullying. I absolutely agree to it. So academic pressure, when you give some child, okay, give it, the NEP 2020 actually focuses on equity. And I'm so happy there are so many good things that the NEP 2020 suggests, if only we would be able to apply that into our sessions, into our classrooms. One of the things that we must all apply is inclusiveness, yes, and equity. Do not be like earlier we used to say equally, treat everybody equal. No, that wouldn't work. That never worked. We have to be, give each one according to what they need. So talking about academic pressure, please make sure that the children are pushed only to a limit. And that too with your complete handholding and your support. And even if they are not able to do well for their academics, as per your expectations, as per parents' expectations, tell them it's okay, it's fine. Find out what are the other things that they're good at, right? Test anxiety. Imagine we're teaching a particular topic and we tell them, okay, at the end of this topic, we're going to put a test for you. Immediately that emotions and the brain, the hormones change and they go into that fear mode. Because that is how we've been conditioned. Because we put test to assess a child, right? After pandemic, a little task is called academic. Please understand the children these days are totally different from how they used to be in all ways, right? Even if you're giving a little pressure, it seems too overwhelming to them. So what can we as teachers do about it? What can we as individuals do about it? I would like to know from you educators that you know that the children sitting in your classrooms are very different from how they used to be in the beginning. In terms of everything, their attitude has changed, the way they learn has changed, the way they approach something has changed. So what can we do as educators? We cannot keep pointing fingers at them. We are adults. We are more experienced. We should be able to give them that hand-holding, that support, that trust, that confidence, right? That we are with you. And we are saying this for you. Yes, they would ask that question, why? And we need to tell them why. We should be able to explain it to them. Why are they supposed to do this? It's a valid question. It's a very valid question. earlier, in our times, we never used to question our teachers. We never used to question our parents. Whatever they used to say, we used to just accept it. But today's children are not like that. They would question you. They would like to know why. Why should I do this? Why is it this right? Why is that wrong? Why should I talk like this? Why should I sit like this? They always have 101 questions. And if as adults we don't have a answer to these questions, we must tell them that probably I do not know the answer to your question right now. But understand, if you trust in me, you will know that I'm asking you to do this for a reason. And soon I will come back to you with the answer of your question. We should be able to tell them that. Another challenging scenario for our children is lack of engagement. If it's a class of 40, if it's a class of 30, there will be 10 or 15 who are all eyes on the teachers and they are listening to you. There are a few others who are engaged with their peers. There are a few others who are least bothered about what is happening in the classroom. Why? Why are they not engaging in the classroom? Why is a very important question for teachers, for students, for everybody. We must encourage our children to ask questions. Many of the times we are not able to answer their question very honestly. But it's okay. They need to know that we are human beings too. And we don't have answers to all their questions. Right? So this is another one is social exclusion. If a child is not included in a peer group, if the child is not included by the teacher when she is doing a particular activity in the class, if the child is not included by the parent, when the guest comes and you're talking about all the other children, probably you're leaving out this one because you think that child does not have something much to offer, right? So social exclusion could be another challenging scenario in your classrooms. Time management. Yes, somebody has written it in the chat box. Sometimes even teachers don't have much time. It's not just sometimes, most of the time, the teachers don't have much time because we are so packed with our schedules. We are so packed with your classes. We have curriculums to finish. We have so many other responsibilities to take care of. But why are we doing all of that? For whom? Is a question we need to ask ourselves. We are doing that for the child. And if the child is not able to benefit from whatever we are doing, I don't see a meaning to what we are doing. Emotional distress could be another challenging scenario in your classrooms, where a child is particularly undergoing some emotional distress. It could be a very personal problem. It could be something that has happened in the class. It could be something, the child has experienced that day morning. It could be anything. So that could be one challenge that you face in your class. Transition challenges. Maybe the child has been shifted from one place to another place and has joined a new school. Maybe, in this new school, he's finding it difficult to cope up with the culture of the school, the way the teachers are teaching, the way the children are behaving. Maybe that's not how he's been used to, right? And another a very, very important thing is communication issues. A very underrated and overused word is communication. What do you mean by communication issues? I may be going through 100 of feelings in my mind. If I'm not able to express myself to someone, how would they help me out? So communication, and not everybody can speak, just like that. Not everybody is a good communicator or fluent communicator. Not everybody is an extrovert. There are a lot of people who need that safe space to open up. So communication could be one more challenge that you are facing, okay? Peer pressure that we have already discussed, low self-esteem that we have discussed, cultural differences, definitely. If you have a classroom of students who are coming from different backgrounds. That could be one challenging scenario where where you're not able to accept each other the way you are. Lack of support from the family, lack of support from the teachers, lack of support from the peers. That could be one challenging issue for you. Language barrier, definitely. That's definitely one of the main reasons. And last but not the least, family issues. But, as somebody mentioned, where do we have the time to deal with all of these? But if we don't deal with these, who would deal with these? My question to you is, if we as teachers don't deal with these in our classrooms, if we don't provide a safe space, if we don't support our children, who else will do? Nobody. They do not trust, anyone like they trust their teachers. Am I wrong? Your children, your students trust you more than they trust their family, their friends, if you have a good relationship with your students. I can say this 100%. So as teachers, it is our responsibility to make sure that we support our children. I have something in the Mentimeter. Let me check if I can bring this up. Just give me a minute while I just take that. And let me know what you see on your screen, because I'm not very sure about what is going to come up on your screen. Just a second. Meanwhile, you're free to express yourself in the chat box and communicate with each other using chat box. Let me know what you see on your screen, okay? What is that you see on your screen? Okay, I think I'm getting responses, so probably that's what you're seeing on your screen. Are you seeing on your screen? What are your expectations for today's class? I know it's a little late for me to ask, but I can always keep checking with you. Is that what you're seeing on your screen? All right, so can we have some inputs that gives me an idea of how to, take my classes forward? Yeah, you can use Mentimeter. If you're not able to use Mentimeter, please use a chat box. I have absolutely no issues. Anything. I just want to know what is your expectations. Yes. If I go to the next screen, would you be able to see that as well if I take it, or it just goes one screen at a time? Okay. All right. All right. Thank you so much. So let me just get back to the presentation. Let me know if it has gone into a full screen mode for you. Are you able to see the presentation on a full screen mode?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. So, how do I bring this SEL to my classrooms? That's a very important thing. And that's a very relevant question. So you can have some of these activities incorporated into your daily teaching and learning process. It need not be a separate process as you are writing your lesson plans, as you are, writing you're planning your particular topic for that particular day. You could think, how do I make sure that this also get incorporated into that? All right. So some of the things that you can see is the first one I have written over there is self-reflection journal. Now, what is a self-reflection journal? It is you are handling the self-awareness part of the SEL in the self-reflection journal. Now, suppose you could ask a few questions like, how do you typically respond to your own emotions? For example, I ask you, how do you typically respond to your own emotions? Or what are your strengths when it comes to managing relationships? Right? These are some of the questions for self-reflections. For children, you can bring it down to their level. You could ask them, how do you handle stress? For example, today we have said that you will have a geography test. So how do you feel in this class right now? Do you feel stressed? Do you feel tensed? Or do you feel comfortable because you have learned the topic and you're ready to go for the test? So how do you feel about it? Or you could just, or can some of you ask some of the relevant questions for self-reflections for the children? Can I have inputs from the participants regarding what are some of the questions that we can ask children for self-reflection? I have 193 participants in my room. So can I have a few questions that you would like to ask your children for self-reflections? Just put it up in the chat box, please. How was the day today? Yes. Are you ready for the test? Okay. If the child says no, okay, after the activity, what is your feeling? Yes. Yes. How did the lesson go for you? Yes, that's open communication. You need to ask them a lot of open-ended questions. What is your opinion? What makes you stressed? How you want to start the class? Yes, these are so wonderful questions. Collaborating with our fellow educators could be magical. Not everything has to come from us. It can come from other people also. So please be open to that. Yes. What do you feel about the lesson? How was your weekend? If it's a Monday morning? Yes. Right. All right. You could say that, your friend probably did not share, if it's a small child, share the lunchbox with you. So how do you feel? Do you feel anger? Or if it's not sharing your crayons for coloring, what is the feeling that you are having? Okay, does anybody have queries or doubts? And ask freely? Yes. So you can have all these questions for that. Then it's something called an SEL manifesto for the class. This could be a group activity which can be given, you can divide your children into small groups. And this could be done by the class teachers, or this could be done by any subject teachers who is interested in the concept of bringing SEL to the classroom, bringing SEL into the mainstream education. You could give them chart papers, you could give them used papers, the reverse side, and you can ask them that what are some of the things that that are important to you in the classrooms. If somebody stands up, this we have seen very often, that if a child stands up and says a wrong answer, everybody else, at least some of them, start laughing. Do you want it like that in your classroom? For me, for my classroom, I have made that very clear that in this classroom, everybody is free to express yourself. And when somebody says an answer, and if that's a wrong answer, that's a silly answer, okay, you're a maths teacher, my students do activity in group only, great. You can do that in groups also. So you must tell them that even if somebody makes a mistake, nobody should be laughing at that person. Everyone should respect everybody else. That could be one thing. So you can create a classroom SEL manifesto, like how we checked in with the emotions. You could check in with their emotions. Now, there could be different ways of, checking in emotions. I've seen it in a lot of internet videos when it's small children, the teacher stands in the entrance of the classrooms and probably ask the child how that child wants to be greeted, handshake, hug, or a high five, and it makes the children so happy, right? How you're welcoming them into the classrooms. Or you could show them the, cards, which has got different emotions, and probably ask them, how do you feel today? So they can point at you if they're young ones, if they are older ones, you could have a chart and where you could have different kinds of emojis, which is very interesting to these children because they talk only in terms of emojis these days, and their acronyms are so difficult to understand sometimes. So you could have a place where it could be a, emotion check-in chart, and you could have different, and you could ask the children to identify what is the emotion that they are feeling at that point of time. You could do that as well. All right. Gratitude circle. This is something very, very important, to take time out of your busy schedules, and probably at the end of the class, you could ask them one simple question. Write in your notebook or tell me something, one thing that you're grateful for today. And it has to be specific, okay? It has to be specific. So at my home, I actually have something called a gratitude jar. It's a small kitchen jar, which I have turned into a gratitude jar. And every time I feel something good, I keep this. I have emptied right now, and I keep putting the small chits into this. And times when I'm not that happy, times when I feel ungrateful, I open it up and I read it out. So please make sure that you inculcate the habit of gratefulness, gratitude in your children. Have gratitude. Yes, have a gratitude journal. That's a beautiful thing to have every day in the morning before they go to sleep. If they can write down what are they grateful for, nothing like that. And for adults also, it's a wonderful practice to have gratitude in our life. Appreciation cards. We do this once in a while when it is Children's Day. We should do it more often. Appreciate, leave small notes, one sentence, one word. That would be enough for your child. Just appreciate your students. Ask them to appreciate each other. All right? Problem solving scenarios. Give them some real life situations. And then ask them, what would you do in this particular case? And why would you do that? Why would it be like that? So you can ask them that. All right? So, for example, if two children are having a disagreement or argument over a shared resource, or maybe access to the computer lab, or it could be anything, you could ask them, how would you solve that problem if you are the two people who are involved in the disagreement? Or if there is a test anxiety, how are you going to overcome that? So you could just have different problem solving scenarios given to them, simple problem solving, simple problems that they can think about and they can discuss and come out with solutions. And you will be amazed to see the solutions that they will bring forward to you. All right. Values reflection. What are some of the values these children are having? And why do you think that value is important to them? You can ask them that. You can also have an activity called strength spotting. It is equally important for, adults, and it is important for children also. Strength spotting. Have them paired up and ask them to say each other's strength, or just go around in the class and spot each other's strengths. Probably write it in that person's notebook that this is, I feel you are a compassionate person. I feel that your personality is amazing. Ask them for non-appearance compliment. Give them clues about non-appearance compliments, right? And ask them to spot each other's strengths. So these are some of the strategies for bringing in SEL into your classrooms, all right? Any questions so far? Any questions so far? Anything that you want to ask me, anything that you want to share, you can put it in the chat box before we go forward. Good enough? Are you all with me? Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. Yes, quality circle time. Yes, some of your schools are already having it. Those who don't have it, start one. It's an amazing thing to have, both for the staff and for the, the little ones, the quality circle time. All right, so now coming up next is some situations about these self-reflection. These are some of the questions you could ask them. You could ask your, your colleagues also about these. So these are some of the questions. Somebody asked me a question. I'm sorry. How many? I'm sorry, I missed out on that. Is that about how many cell periods should we have? Something like that? I'm sorry, I missed out on that question because it went too fast.
Ma'am, it was how many periods should be dedicated to SEL in a week?
Oh my goodness, Lord. All your periods are SEL periods. Your maths period, your English period, your history period, your language period, your geography, your science. It's incorporated into your lessons, right? Other than the class teachers, I do not think anybody else get a dedicated period with children to take. So when you are, teaching them the concept about maths or a concept in science or a concept in language, you could just try to incorporate these into them. I think I have a few examples of how you can do that. So there is It is an integrated period. Yes, yes. Mindfully integrated. Thank you so much. A high five to you. Yeah, thank you so much. I again stress on this fact that SEL is a part of your teaching learning process. It is not a separate period like your GK, computer, or moral classes. It has to be integrated into your daily lessons. Okay, it's very important to do that. Okay, so one question, I'm sure that everybody read it by now, is think about a challenging situation you encountered with a student. How did your own emotions and self-awareness influence the outcome? Sometimes these children challenge us, and sometimes it's very difficult to control our emotions at that point of time. So if you have that self-awareness and self-management, then you will be able to tackle the student very tactfully. And it's very important as teachers to do this. Okay, so you could have responses in the chat box if you have answers to this, both inside and outside the classroom. Perfect. Yes, Vijay Lakshmi ma'am. It can be incorporated both inside and outside the classroom. Can I have a few answers for the question on your screen so that we can move to the next question? Any challenging time that you have encountered where a child has challenged your authority probably, and you were not able to control your emotions? Anybody? If after loads of encouragement child doesn't respond, okay. I did not understand the context for that, Ms. Speciali. SEL is needed to build healthy society. Okay, fine. I hope that this question has triggered you into thinking, okay? When you realize that the child needs our help, and maybe it's a quiet attention, maybe by self-control, okay? All right. Reflect on a time when you experience a strong connection with a student. What SEL skills do you think played a role in fostering that connection? Everybody knows the 5 SEL skills that we have, right? The 5 SEL skills are self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, responsible decision-making, and relationship skills. All right. So these are some of the things that is helping you to reflect on the SEL. You can share a personal experience from your own school days when you feel supported by a teacher. How did that teacher's action contribute to your social and emotional well-being? I can vouch for this, that you will not remember a teacher who has taught you the concept of trigonometry beautifully. You would not remember the teacher who taught you Shakespeare brilliantly, but you would remember the teacher who considered you, who accepted you, who loved you behind, irrespective of the limitations that you had. That is the role that social emotional learning plays in your life and in every child's life. You do not remember what the teacher has taught you 10 years from now, 15 years from now. It doesn't matter. But how did that teacher made you feel? Were you accepted in that class? Were you treated well? Yes. Were you treated well? Were you encouraged? Did that person trusted you? All this would come back to you, right? Someone who made you come up in life without judgment. Yes. Thank you so much, Poonam ma'am. I told you, right? A teacher is an integral part of teaching learning. So if you think that I don't have the time to incorporate SEL into my teaching learning because I have so much to teach and so much to, finish, I have a curriculum to finish, I just have to tell you this. We have made curriculum for our children, and we are teaching a future student who is going to go 10 years from now, 15 years from now, out into the world that we have not yet seen, and we don't know what kind of jobs would be available to them. So all we can do is to, empower them with the skills that are required for them to flourish when they go into this real world 10 or 15 years later. That's all we can do. That's a totally different topic, Meenakshi ma'am. ADHD children and how to deal with them. It's a totally different topic. But there are ways in which we can incorporate them also. Our classrooms need to be inclusive classrooms. When I say inclusive, it means inclusive. It means all, irrespective of the child's ability, disability, all of them. A music teacher helped me to sing poems from my lesson. Wonderful, Ramya. That's so good to know. So please understand that SEL is that skill that you're going to imbibe or give it to children that will help them live their life confidently. They will feel empowered. And believe me, they will thank you more for making them feel special, making them feel skilled, giving them these ability to make informed choices, decisions in their life, to be able to connect to other people, to communicate correctly, to express themselves correctly, to manage their emotions. This is all that is required. Please do not put them into a box and ask them to live their life inside that box. Most of us are living our lives inside the box, right? We have been conditioned like that. It's not a fault of us. It's been conditioned like that as for our parents, our community, our society. They have drawn a border. They have put us in and they've said, okay, this is your life. You live it here. But please understand, we are supposed to live a life with full authenticity, with full freedom. And for that, we need to have these skills that we call as life skills incorporated every day mindfully into our lessons. It's very, very important. Okay, I just got a half an hour more. I'll be finishing off in another 15 minutes. So some of the ways in which you can integrate SEL into your daily lessons. Like somebody asked, do we need to have a separate period or, this number of periods for SEL? No, it can be part of your everyday class. All right. So morning check-ins, just as I said, as you walk into their classrooms, you can ask them these questions of how they are feeling and things like that. If you are an English teacher or a language teacher or any subject teacher for that matter, when you are picking up articles or books or concept to read, you can read probably something which would help them to discuss general topics like empathy, resilience, conflict resolutions, things like that. And after you have finished your topic for that day, you could bring in these. My HOD ma'am gave me the strength and confidence to deal with things of which I was afraid of. I give a virtual hug to your HOD ma'am, Rashika ma'am. May this reach to her. It's so important to give people the strength and the confidence when they need it. And that has to come from us. Besides our regular teaching and learning, this is what we are here for. So morning check-ins could be one way, literature discussions, collaborative group projects. Somebody was saying that since this is my subject, excuse me, my children work in group projects. So when they are dealing with group projects, you can actually help those children bring in this concept of SEL, while you can see how they are communicating with their teammates. How are they participating? Are they sharing their resources? Are they helping each other? These are all SELs, right? Mindfulness break. When the our children start learning from probably 9 in the morning till 3 in the evening. One after the other, you take the subject, next subject, next subject, next subject. And every teacher wants the child to be attentive. Every teacher wants the child to, pay 100% attention and listen to exactly what the teacher is saying. Not possible. And I'm sure I started at 6 o'clock. By now, at least few of you have gone. Your thoughts have gone. You're physically there. You're mentally not there. You're physically and mentally you're not there. It could be possible. So when you are in your classrooms, you in the middle of teaching, just give them a mindfulness break. Just take a minute off. Maybe you can ask them to sit straight, make their postures correct, sit straight, and take a deep breath. and relax. Maybe, stand up, clap their hands. Maybe look at each other and smile. You don't know. You can come up with 101 ways in which you can give these mindfulness breaks. Somebody had mentioned about journaling when I mentioned gratitude. Journaling is a very, very powerful way of integrating SEL into your lessons. Ask your children, a science teacher, a maths teacher, a English teacher, anybody can talk to children about all of these. It doesn't have to be a class teacher. It doesn't have to be a value education teacher. It doesn't have to be a moral science teacher. No, it doesn't have to be. Each one of us have a role to play. And all of us must collectively play a role so that there is a difference and there is this culture of bringing SEL into the main curriculum. Role play could be another way of integrating SEL into your lessons. Community service projects could be another way of bringing this into your lessons. Reflective discussions, have a discussion, an open-ended discussions with your children. That could be possible. So these are the different ways. Yeah, art is a great relaxation technique. Yes, ask them to pick up a paper, give them, ask them to draw whatever they're feeling at that moment of time. You can do that. Yes, that's a wonderful way of doing it. Yes, if it is possible, if there is a child who likes to read, you want to give them, you finish your topic, maybe the library is free, you can ask them to go and get a book from the library. Yes, it could be anything like that. So these are the different ways. And some of the resources, if those of you who wants to, learn more about SEL and to have access more SEL resources, you could just take a picture of these slides probably, and you could visit this later. So KSL has provided beautiful resources, and there is a 60 minutes small SEL fresher course, which gives you basically an idea about what SEL is and what all components it deals with. So you could take that, and there is a certificate also for that. So KSL is a beautiful resource. Secondstep.org is another place where you can visit and get more ideas about bringing SEL into your main curriculum and your teaching learning process. Edutopia, the AIL Center for Emotional Intelligence. Has everybody taken a picture? Can I move to the next slide? Just got, I think, 1 or 2 more. Yeah. Everybody has taken a picture? Fair enough. All right. Class Dojo. This is another place where you can visit. And if you would like to know more about SEL and how other people are doing it in their classroom, what are some of the activities that they have been doing? You can do that. Go Noodle is another one. Then there is this SEL toolkit by EdSearch. That's also a good one for you to visit. So the main thing is we need to get started, and we need to understand and accept this fact that social emotional learning is very much an integral part of our regular classroom teaching, our regular mainstream education. It is not something very different. It is not something that somebody special would come and deliver in the class. No, it is coming from us. It has to come from us. We need to find time. So this time, as you go to the new academic year, preparing your lesson plans and things like that, also think about what are the different ways in which you can take these into your classrooms, to your children in small ways. Is it possible? Can I do this? And if I'm not able to do this on my own, can I take help? Do not shy away from taking help from each other. Always reach out to people who can help you. Believe me, we will grow. When we ask for help and when we receive help, we grow, right? So, yes. Now, finally, we have come to a part where I want you guys to go through a guided visualization. And for doing this, I want everybody, you could just, if you're wearing your earphones, it's fine. Otherwise, if it's your phone, you could just leave it in the speaker mode. If it's a laptop, just like that. I want you guys to find a comfortable position to sit. Are you all there? Can I have a yes? Okay, thumbs up, anything if you're all there. We're going to go through a guided visualization. We are at the last part of our session. So all of you have been with me so far, and I just request you to be here for a few more minutes. Yeah, thank you so much. So first thing that you need to do is Please find a comfortable position. All right. And take a moment to relax your body. Sit in a way where you are the most relaxed right now, or feel all that you're feeling right now. Okay. Give me a minute. I just want you to listen to this as I'm playing. I don't know if you would be able to listen to this music, but if you are able to, it's okay. If you're not able to, that's also fine. Just listen to my voice. Close your eyes and take a deep breath in. Slowly exhale, releasing any tension or stress you may be holding. Imagine yourself in a safe and supportive environment, such as your favorite peaceful place. It could be your mother's lap when you were a child, or a nurturing classroom setting. Imagine yourself in a safe place. Visualize yourself surrounded by a warm, glowing light, radiating a sense of calm and positivity. Feel this light enveloping your entire being, creating a cocoon of serenity. As you bask in this light, bring your attention to your emotions. Notice any emotions that may be present within you at this moment. Acknowledge them without judgment, allowing them to simply be. Now envision yourself engaging in an activity that promotes social emotional learnings. It could be a moment of empathy where you understand and connect with another person's emotions. Picture yourself offering support and listening attentively, fostering a sense of understanding and compassion. See yourself practicing self-awareness, recognizing and honoring your own emotions. Imagine interacting with your peers, building positive relationships, and fostering a sense of belonging. Envision yourself making responsible decisions, considering the impact of your actions on yourself and others. See yourself demonstrating integrity and acting in alignment with your values. As you visualize these moments, feel a deep sense of fulfillment and well-being. Know that by cultivating these skills, you're nurturing your own social and emotional growth, enhancing your relationships and positively impacting the world around you. Take a moment to express gratitude for your life and everything in it. Every breath that you take, feel grateful. And when you are ready, slowly bring your awareness back to the present moment, gently opening your eyes and carrying this sense of calm with you. So if you are all back into full awareness, I just want you to write in the chat box what are some of the takeaways that you would take from this session here today. I'm so glad that you were all with me and all of you found some meaning in this particular session. Okay, I want you to be specific when you are writing your takeaway. I am grateful that all of you feel that it was a good session, but I want you to be specific. What is that you are going to take away from this particular session? That's what I would like to know. Yes, thank you so much for your love, your energy. Because of you, I was able to take this session. So grateful to each and every one of you present here. And when you are trying to bring SEL into your classrooms, reflect what is that you present to. Yes, thank you so much for all the comments. Now you could remain connected to me. My phone number is on your screen and I am available on Instagram by the name of Enable by Shibi Anand. And in both Facebook and LinkedIn, it's Shibi Anand. So do remain connected. And if there is anything that I can help you out with, just let me know. And once again, I would like to thank everybody who was here for this 1 hour, 45 minutes, almost close to 2 hours, encouraging, collaborating, giving me energy through your chat boxes, and being fully here with the session. I understand how difficult it is for us when we are at home to attend an online session. So you doing this is my greatest, I feel grateful. And I feel grateful to everybody at Amrita for organizing this session, because this is such an important and relevant topic that all of us should take into our lives. And I would love to be connected to all of you. So please feel free to connect it. Lakshmi, I hope you have shared the feedback link in the chat box for them. They are asking for the attendance.
Yes,
yeah. I think probably you will have to freeze the chat box and then share the feedback link so that everybody can get access. Otherwise, it just goes up and people will find it difficult to access it. Meanwhile, if there is anybody who would like to, speak and, give a feedback verbally, please raise your hand. We would like to listen to your feedbacks as well. So there are 107 participants there now. Yes,
so if you want to interact with ma'am, you can just raise your hand. So I'll give you the permission to talk. So you can directly talk with her. So as of now, I have disabled the chat box and I have just shared the feedback form. So I think it's visible for everyone. So just click on it and give your feedback. And ma'am, from my side, it was very wonderful and informative session. So myself was a student here. So yeah, it was very wonderful.
I'm also a student. I'm also just taking baby steps into this world of SEL. And as I am taking the baby steps, I understand how important it is for us as individuals to incorporate it into our lives. Whether we are just plain individuals or educators or anybody, it is so important to have the social emotional learning incorporated into our lives. So is there anybody out there who would like to unmute and speak? This is the toughest part, when somebody asks us for a feedback, we all go into a hiding mode. I totally understand. That's probably because of the conditioning that we have had, and or probably because we have already expressed.
Yes,
Shashikant.
I think I have given the permission also. So please unmute.
You have to unmute.
Yeah.
You will have to unmute yourself. We have already enabled it from our side. Yes.
Hello, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. Please go.
Ma'am, my name is Shashikant Rai, and actually I work for a think tank. I'm not a teacher, but when I came across this topic, I thought that I should also attend it because I have two kids at home. One is 14 years and my daughter is 10 years. I must say this is an eye-opening session, and I'm going to share your details with some of teachers whom I usually interact with. It is amazing session, ma'am. I must.
Thank you so much. Please take this into your family. Please take this to the teachers that you interact with. Let more and more people be aware of this. That is what we would like to know. Let more and more teachers be empowered. More and more parents be empowered, because that is when these small changes would happen. Together, we can do so much. So I could only do a little bit. Now, all of you going and taking it into your respective schools or organizations or families, that would be amazing and wonderful to see. And thank you so much for joining us today and giving us this feedback. It means a lot. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think Sangeeta ma'am also want to share. So I have,
Please go ahead, Sangeeta ma'am.
Am I audible? Good evening.
Yes, you are.
Session, ma'am. And this is my third session on social emotional learning. The kind of basics that you have covered, this is the first time that I got that kind of an insight. Thank you so much. And just wanted to know if we can refer or further reading or something, if you can share something on those lines.
Yeah, I would, those resources, those links that are taken pictures, you could go there. There are tons of resources, all free. Right. You could just resources, videos, articles, ideas. You will get a lot, and even courses for social emotional learning. If you are somebody who's interested in knowing more about it, you could take small courses also on social emotional learning.
Yes, I will definitely. In case I have a question, I'll connect with you.
Thank you. Please.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Anyone else who would like to speak? It's absolutely fine.
Yeah, almost everybody have filled the feedback form. So maybe
I'll
enable the chat box also if somebody is feeling.
Yeah, you could enable the chat box once again, so that before we go, we could take in all those energies. And those who have, Anandita ma'am has raised her hand, and Suchita.
Permission, so ma'am.
You could unmute and speak, please. And the chat box is enabled for you to communicate through that as well.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am. I want to ask, how can I going for classes for SEL?
You want to go for a regular class, or you want to take an online class?
Online classes, ma'am. Online classes.
Yeah, in that there is the first link, which is CASEL, CASEL.org. That has a small SEL course.
Yes, I already written here. So I'm going from Chrome, Google, and write this. Then all the courses is there or not?
No. This particular site has only one course and a lot of materials are reading. But if you want, there are a lot of this MOOC. The platforms that provides MOOC courses, you will have social emotional learning. If you could connect to me probably later, I might search for a few courses and then share it with you, if that is okay.
Yeah, ma'am. Yeah, yes, ma'am. Yeah. It's okay, ma'am.
So I think we have.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, Sujita ma'am, I have given you permission. So yeah.
Yes, Thank you, ma'am. I'm a school teacher and from a socially, economically disadvantaged children's school. And it was a very good session, ma'am. Practically, we are doing all these things in our class. So it was very helpful. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. And you're doing a wonderful job of, teaching our children who are coming from deprived background is the most challenging task to do. So more strength, more power, sending across to you. May you be able to make a difference to all their lives.
Thank you, ma'am.
So Vijayalakshmi ma'am and Sharada ma'am, the recording will be shared. So we'll mail you the recording of the session.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad that you were able to connect to me, Disha. I think there's one more hands that is raised.
Yes. I think Tina, ma'am, I think you can talk now. Please try to unmute.
Shibi ma'am, thank you so much for the wonderful session.
Yes.
It was very informative. And, I help children with learning disability. So this session is very useful to me.
Yeah, Tina is a special educator and she's a good friend of mine. So somebody was asking about, ADHD students being disturbance in class. So if there are special educators in your school, you could probably ask them how to deal with these children when they are in your class, but please do not, push them away or include them in your regular learning classes. Thank you so much, Tina, for joining. And thank you so much, everybody else, for joining. It's already 8 o'clock and I don't want to take up a lot of your time. And thank you, Amrita, again for organizing this session. Thank you all.
So thank you so much, ma'am. It was a wonderful session and we have a huge crowd here and everybody, it was really wonderful and a lot of people interacted. So thank you,
Yes.
everyone. Thank you so much and the recording will be shared. Thank you. Thank you all. Have a good day.
Bye, everyone. Have a good night.